American Retirement Advisors, the Gradient Investments weekly talking points for the week ending August 11th, 2023. Hope you guys are having a great summer, which is, oh my gosh, almost over, but let's get into it already. So stocks and major global indices were down last week, with the benchmark S&P 500 easing down by only 0.27%. The Russell 2000 was down 1.67%, and NASDAQ was off 1.87%. Now, overseas, the developed markets were down 0.56%, while the emerging markets dropped 1.92%. Within the U.S., the value stocks outperformed growth stocks, and large caps outperformed mid caps and small caps. By sector, energy and healthcare were the best performing sectors, while technology and consumer discretionary were the laggards. As you can see by the pump, energy, the gas prices are going up, so of course, they're doing better, right? Okay. Let's get into fixed income. Yields rose and values fell in bonds last week, with the benchmark 10-year Treasury rising 11 basis points to 4.16%. That's the highest the 10-year has been in a while. Now, over the last few weeks, the shorter-term Treasury, the 2-year, has been relatively flat, while the rates have risen for the 10 and the 30-year issues. Now, note the government did raise its forecast at the end of July for new long-term bond sales. So that's what's happening. Everybody's like, well, how am I losing? Aren't I in bonds? Bonds are down, right? When their yields go up, bond values go down. There, you see it pull back there. Let's go to commodities. The price of corn has dropped 26.8% from early March, when it was priced at $6.45 a bushel, to $4.72 today. Now, heavily wet conditions in the spring have reversed, and the key growing states of Iowa and Nebraska are experiencing very high yields, causing prices to fall. So let's get into economic data. The Consumer Price Index, the CPI, rose 0.2% in July from June, in line with the consensus estimate and the prior month report. Shelter was the key driver to the inflation last month, as nearly all of the categories continue to see declining prices. We are starting to see inflation come down, but not everywhere. And the index for all items less food and energy rose 0.2% in July, as it did in June as well. So we're still seeing that happening, so we'll see how that's going to settle in. Let's talk about some company news. Amgen, which is a recent addition to the G50 strategy, reported volume and revenue growth in its core drugs ahead of consensus expectations and promising results in its drug pipeline. Management raised its profit and revenue guidance for the year, and shares were up 7.9% for the week, so that was a very good addition there. How about Broadridge Financial Solutions, which is a G50 holding, reported earnings that exceeded consensus estimates, and management raised guidance for the fiscal year ahead, which we talk about, they're talking about how much income is coming in. The board authorized a 10% dividend hike. Yield on the new rate is now 1.76%, and shares rose 9.76% for the week. How about Novo Nordisk, which is a G40I holding? Shares rose 15.96% for the week after the pharmaceutical sales company reported growth of 30% ahead of expectations. And sales of its diabetic and obesity care divisions were surprisingly strong at 37 and 150% respectively. And it's also noticed that a semaglutide drug statistically significantly reduced the risk of major adverse cardiovascular events. That's a mouthful. And so management raised guidance for the full year. That's it for this week's market summary. Thank you so much for being part of the ARA family. If you'd like to get a hold of us, you know how to reach us, 855-756-5700. Reach out, our email, or go to our website. You can request an appointment through our generational vault, or just have us call you back if you need anything. That's the biggest thing. Everybody's like, where should we go, Joe? What's the market going to do? We hear this all the time. What's happening? The earnings season. This is like the earnings season coming through right now, so we're seeing a lot where you wonder, why is the market reacting? Why is it going up and down? What about the recession? What's happening here and there? Right? Your guess is as good as mine. Everybody was saying we're going to have a recession this year, but then they said we had it last year. So, but we are still seeing some signs, so we don't know, but we are seeing a lot of strength. So a lot of the indicators are still very, very strong. Bottom line, most important thing, proper allocation, have some good, strong stock portfolios for earnings and for growth. Have some safe buckets of money with the annuities and the fixed income things that we can do, but just make sure you got cash on hand. Be well diversified. The most important thing, we're going to see these ups and downs in the market. You have to be well diversified, make sure you're going to be able to take advantage of the growth, and then also have your safe bucket when we have the downturn. So God bless you. Take care. We'll see you again next week.